I think animals are a bit like people. There's no guarantee that they'll get on, is there?
Well, they say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. And we've got on, I'd say, pretty well for 20 years or so now.
That's true. We haven't rubbed along too badly. But today, we are going to be following the fortunes of an animal family that, for very good reason, was separated.
And today they're going to be reunited for the first time in over a year.
So fingers crossed that goes well. But here's what else is coming up on today's programme.
Jean's in for a close encounter of the creepy crawly kind.
He's hidden from my sleeve, James.
A troop of monkeys are moving onto Gorilla Island, but there's no guarantee they'll stay there.
Any animal could probably swim if it really has to and needs to.
And there's tragic news from tiger territory.
Part of me is so jealous of your job. It's the most wonderful job, but goodness, it doesn't go without heartbreak, does it?
Not at all.
This is Zena, a very special hand-reared cheetah cub. Cheetahs are the fastest land animals on Earth, hitting speeds of up to 120 kilometers an hour. But Zena may never reach top speed. Her front legs have a growth abnormality and curve outwards at the ankle. They don't seem to cause her pain, but they are a concern for keeper Matt, who's been her primary carer since she was born.
Hi, Zena. Good morning. Overall, she's doing really well. I think she's going to be always a slightly smaller framed cheetah due to her growth abnormality, which sadly is quite common with hand-reared cheetah cubs. It's a nutritional issue where there's an imbalance between calcium and phosphorus. And due to Zena's tough start in life, we had big problems, getting her feeding properly.
Last year at the park, as part of a breeding program to save this endangered species, Wilma gave birth to 2 cubs. One tragically died. The other, Zena, was rejected by Wilma and rushed to the vets.
She's very dehydrated and can't have been suckling overnight, so we don't know exactly what's happened.
She battled through the toughest first weeks of life, cared for by Matt, who'd hand-reared abandoned cubs at a conservation charity in Africa. With TLC by the bucket load, Zena has come on in leaps and bounds.
She's now eating properly, like a proper cheetah should, so hopefully over the next few months her leg issues will improve. There you go, Zena. Good girl.
The plan is to eventually reintegrate Zena with her mum, Wilma. For that to be a success, Matt needs to get Zena's legs as strong as possible. So over the past few months, he's been working closely with animal osteopath Tony Nevin to reduce the curve that had developed in her front legs.
So if you were looking at her sitting, her legs would have done this at the wrist. So they come down, go out.
The bones in Zena's legs were growing at different speeds, causing them to bend. To reverse this, Tony's been massaging the tense muscles and tendons that have contributed to the problem.
It's a little bit like the guy ropes on a tent. If we could get those to adjust, then the framework, the skeleton, had a chance to sort of catch up and grow at the pace it should.
Okay, you ready to play?
To make as much improvement as possible while Zena's still growing, she's also on a strict twice-daily exercise regime.
So here we've got our scratching post. So the idea is that she actually climbs up, good girl, and she grips the post with her paws, aiding the straightening, basically, of those 2 front legs.
With exercise, Zena's starting to fix herself and develop strength for the challenges ahead. Because reintegration with mother Wilma now comes with 3 furry complications. Last year, Wilma surprised everyone by giving birth to a second litter, Bolt, Mo and Dina. Playing with the other cubs would help Zena's mobility and natural instincts. But with siblings named after top-class athletes, she's got a lot to live up to. In preparation for the integration, Matt's moving Zena to the pen next to Wilma's and mixing their straw so they get a scent for each other.
being around each other becomes the norm. That's the whole game. So hopefully when they find Zena in the same space with them outside, it's going to be a case of, oh, it's just you.
With Zena moved up, Matt brings Wilma and her cubs in and watches for a reaction.
These good guys.
While there's interest from the other cubs, Wilma's wary. She doesn't recognize Zena as her daughter.
Wilma, that was a bit unnecessary, wasn't it? Wilma, as you can see, I think is going to be our challenge.
Although Matt has kept Zena on track, the cub has to get to the finishing line without him. And that means forging a relationship with her estranged mother, Wilma, no matter how tricky it will be.
I can't be there all the time to reassure her, so at some point she's going to have to grow up and kind of take care of herself. Sometimes you just got to, take a deep breath and get on with it.
After almost a year of caring for Zena, Matt knows it's time to let go. But what if Zena isn't accepted by her mother? Her future hangs in the balance.
For more than 30 years, Gorilla Island was home to the legendary silverback, Nico. Already in his 20s when he arrived in 1986, he quickly became one of Longleat's most loved creatures.
I never kind of believed in things like soulmates and things until I met him, but there was some kind of connection there that you can't put your finger on it.
Forging incredible bonds with his devoted keepers Lauren, Ian, and Mark.
He was grumpy, I'm grumpy. It kind of worked, really.
An infamous tele-addict with a sweet tooth. He was one of the oldest gorillas in the world. But last year, he died in his sleep at the age of 56.
I just remember this magnificent animal that really wasn't like an animal. He was just like a person. I'll miss him forever.
It was a heartbreaking loss. But after lying vacant for several months, it's time for a new lease of life on Gorilla Island.
We got someone in to remove all the old steelwork. Going and looking at the house once that had all gone, it was a completely different room. It all of a sudden just didn't feel like Nico's house anymore. We've moved on.
The island's about to become home to not just one primate, but a troop of 7. Today, the first 3 are arriving.
Hello, little monkey.
Eastern black and white Colobus monkeys. An exciting first for the park. The species originates in Central Africa, but these 3 brothers have come from Northern Ireland. The only way to get to their new home is via the chain pontoon across the water.
Surreal, actually, that they're finally here, but yeah, excited to meet them.
But housing this trio on an island comes with a risk. Will they try and freestyle to freedom?
We've got electric fencing all the way around as a precaution. We're hoping that the space is big enough that they won't even attempt to swim. If they do, then we have to have a rethink.
The monkeys' current keeper, Andrew, gets his first look at their new home.
I think it's enough electric fencing.
I'd be slightly worried. My worry is them jumping in the water.
Yeah.
That's just they've never seen water before, so I mean I'm not sure what way they react. You know, we've had in the past animals react badly to water.
Okay. Let's bring them in.
But the trip across unfamiliar water and the new surroundings have spooked the 3 monkeys.
You can get them into the box now, you can't get them.
Andrew knows this species isn't always so shy and retiring.
If you are trying to push them indoors, that's when they will panic, and that's when you're likely to have someone try and jump through a fence, over a fence, into the water or whatever.
Yeah.
I've had a male Colobus run at me, and come at me, baring teeth, and he wasn't stopping.
Eventually, the three brothers emerge. To contain these acrobatic monkeys requires improved island security.
We're going to substantially increase the amount of electric we have around the outside. They've had electricity in their previous enclosures, so hopefully they won't want to go anywhere near the edge.
Soon, 4 more Colobus will arrive from France, and the new family will be let out onto their island home. But is the enclosure secure enough to see Gorilla Island become home to primates once more? After Sundari, one of the park's 2 elderly Amur tigers, was diagnosed with terminal cancer several months ago, yet more tragedy has struck tiger territory.
It has been a traumatic few months up here at the Tiger House, and I've come up to catch up with Amy to see how they're all coping.
On a cold day in February, Sundari's sister Shaori gained access to an adjacent tiger paddock when a door was accidentally opened. A fight ensued, and tragically, Shaori was killed. Amy's been looking after the tigers for nearly 12 years.
Good girl.
My goodness, you have been through the mill up here at the Tiger House, haven't you?
Oh, yes. Yeah, we really have.
Let's start with what happened with Shaori.
It wasn't meant, but Shaori mixed in with our 2 breeding pair.
Male Red and female Yana arrived last year. The park hopes these endangered tigers will breed, which is why they are being kept together. In the wild, tigers are strictly solitary, adults only pairing up to mate. While the pair were about to be released into the main enclosure, Shaori gained access to their paddock. A fatal fight ensued.
So would Red or Yana seen her as a threat or as a competition?
Initially, it was between Yana and Shaori, so they had a bit of a fight, and then Red sort of got involved. But I think because Red and Yana were in there together, that's what happened. That was the outcome that we had.
Yeah.
That sadly, Shaori passed away. But I think if Red and Shaori had mixed, because that was a plan down the line, that we were going to mix those 2 together.
Yeah.
I think if it was just 2 of them, it would have been absolutely fine.
Right.
But because Yana was there.
So the dynamic just couldn't work.
Yeah.
Aged 13, Shaori couldn't defend herself against 2 tigers in their prime. She suffered severe wounds and died within minutes, right in front of Amy's eyes.
I really feel for you. I really feel for you. I can't imagine how difficult that must have been.
It was absolutely horrendous. It was really traumatic. Everything we tried to get Red off just didn't work. It's there in the back of my mind, but I try not to think about it.
Instinct. I mean, these are wild animals ultimately, aren't they?
It just shows what a male tiger can do, and how much respect we have to have for these animals.
Yeah. So Sundari is still here. Hello, my girl. Do you think, I mean, she and Shaori, you know, were obviously together for a very long time. Even though we know that they're usually solitary animals, do you think she missed having her around?
100% she misses her. The first few days, she was looking around everywhere. She'd come in the house, she'd look around the corner, she'd search everywhere, trying to find her. But obviously, a couple months later, she'll go around and she'll make some just sad sounds, just little roars as she's walking around, sort of.
Gosh, it's so good. I mean, you know, part of me is so jealous of your job. It's the most wonderful job, but goodness, it doesn't go without heartbreak, does it?
Not at all.
Over in Jungle Kingdom, Jeans reluctantly agreed to a close encounter with some creepy crawlies who get a bad rap.
Now, they're not exactly the pin-up boys of the animal world, but bug expert James reckons cockroaches deserve some respect.
Completely. They are amazing.
James, they're huge. Cockroaches are like this size.
It depends on the cockroach. So there's over 4,000 different species of cockroach. These are Madagascan hissing cockroaches.
They're massive.
The cockroaches can get bigger than this. There's a species called a rhinoceros cockroach in Australia, almost double the size.
Now, that one I have no interest in.
So we have the male. You can see he has those little horns just on top of his head.
Right.
Females don't. The female's also a little bit bigger as well.
I mean, James, they've just got such a bad reputation. And I think of cockroaches, I think of garbage and dodgy hotel rooms that haven't been cleaned properly.
It's really not their fault. So out of those 4,000 different species, there's only 28 or so that are actually considered as pests.
Right.
The rest would never come in contact with people. And the only reason that they're around all that stuff is because there's plenty for them to eat.
Right, I'm going to give you this time to try and make me do a U-turn on cockroaches.
OK.
Brought my macro lens with me so we can have a good look at them close up.
Excellent.
Do I want to see this?
Completely. They are absolutely amazing. You can see those incredible little feet just there. Little tiny hooks on the end of each foot. But they also have these sticky pads that help them climb glass and things like that. So that's the female that we're seeing right there. We've got the male underneath. So I don't know if you can see the male's antenna just there, but they're really furry. That's perfect. So those are perfect for picking up chemical signals as well. So unlike us that use our nose, these guys don't have a nose, so they use their antennas to pick up all those sort of smells.
I'm getting a bit worried about the fact she's climbing on top of him because I've heard that cockroaches sometimes eat each other.
It's not very, very common at all. What is amazing about them is that they actually give birth to live young. So unlike other animals that will lay eggs, these guys create what's called an ootheca. It's basically like a sac almost. She lays her eggs into it and it sort of extends past the bottom of the abdomen. It keeps going out and out and out. And then she reabsorbs it into a different chamber. So it's like an insect's equivalent of a womb. But after a certain amount of time, those babies will hatch out inside it and crawl out.
I mean, their bodies almost look like a really intricate coat of armour. Is that why they've survived for 300 million years?
One of the reasons, definitely. Cockroaches as a whole are masters of survival, and that's because they have more than one brain. One in their head, one in another part of their body. If that head gets lopped off by some unfortunate accident, that's not going to kill it.
And have you heard that if there was a nuclear fallout, only cockroaches would survive?
Yeah. So their cells aren't affected in the same way that our cells are by radiation.
Oh, really?
So the initial blast, nothing's going to survive that, but the radiation isn't really going to bother them at all. Do you think you want to hold one?
I know I don't want to hold one, but I think our cameraman Gareth here is encouraging me to do it. So, oh, their legs feel so creepy.
Yeah, you can feel them sort of sticking onto you there. There we go. Perfect.
Right, okay, well, she's there. We might as well have a closer look. They are amazing. He's heading for my sleeve, James.
You're doing amazing.
Still not my favourite animal, but I have to admit, they're pretty impressive.
Today's a big day for Matt and hand-reared cheetah, Zena.
Hi, Zena. You okay?
Matt and the carnivore team will attempt to mix Zena with mum Wilma, her sister Dina, and brothers Bolt and Mo.
And you can see the cubs have been raring to go inside, actually. They've been quite curious with Zena in there.
But there's a chance Wilma will see Zena as a threat to her litter and attack.
Yeah, I'm feeling anxious. I want to be optimistic, but my gut feeling is going to be a bit difficult.
Introductions are always a challenge, but Zena's best chance of learning natural cheetah behaviour is by reuniting with her family. The team stand by, ready to enter the enclosure if a fight breaks out. First, Zena will meet the cubs. This chase will stretch Zena's legs to the limit.
Zena is not quite sure, these guys, and he's obviously trying to run away from them. And the other three might think this is like a game. They might be trying to play with her, but Zena's obviously not on the same wavelength at the moment.
Matt's also concerned Zena's weaker front legs aren't up to the chase.
All that running around was quite strenuous exercise for her. We don't make her run that fast normally. If she starts running around again and we start seeing her really limping or anything like that, then we're probably going to have to call it a day. Kind of wanted to tell her it's all going to be okay, but she has to learn on her own.
Scared of her siblings, Zena seeks refuge up against the fence. Luckily, Dina, Bolt and Mo lose interest and start to pine for Wilma. Head of Carnivores, Amy, sees the confrontation as progress.
The cubs were interested, obviously, in her being in there, but there was nothing too much there, not too much aggression. So I think it was really positive, really.
Matt decides to introduce Wilma.
And then if they just kind of coexist in that space, just to kind of get used to each other's presence, and that's kind of maybe a small victory for today, and then we kind of split them off. Virgil, if you want to get ready, just let her in.
Wilma is released. The family reunite. Then turn towards Zena.
Zena. Okay, John, if you get ready on that slider. Zena, cub. Zena, cub.
Wilma corners her daughter.
Yeah, it's stressful, because I know, Zena's obviously quite upset, and this is all new to her, so that's a good girl, Wilma. It's all right.
It's a huge relief as Wilma moves away.
I was close to calling it and going in.
An extremely tense experience for Matt and Zena.
We hopefully got this out of their system.
But is this really a step in the right direction? Or could it be a sign of things to come?
Think monkeys, think mischief, and these tamarins here are no exception to the rule. So what kind of monkey business can we expect when the new Colobus are released onto their island home?
4 more Colobus have arrived from France, taking the island's population up to 7.
It's a beautiful day, so today we will open the door and let them out and see what happens.
But is Half Mile Lake and the upgraded electric fencing enough to keep these acrobatic monkeys contained?
Any animal could probably swim if it really has to and needs to. With their leaping ability and the fact that it's all new and strange, that they may end up jumping in the water. But we're taking precautions.
While Mark mans the island, Matt and Amy will patrol the lake, armed with capture nets should any Colobus brave the hippo-infested waters.
So it's the first couple of minutes that will be the vital ones, making sure that they don't run straight off the edge of the island without realising that the land does stop.
Everyone's in position.
Yeah, we're ready.
The atmosphere's electric. The doors unlocked and the Colobus are released. Moving at up to 30 miles an hour and leaping up to 10 metres at a time, it's almost impossible to keep eyes on all 7 as they rocket around the island.
Andy, can you go that way a little bit? Because they ran behind that bamboo now.
Their metre-long tails help them balance on branches and act like parachutes as they leap down from trees.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Are they all still there, or has one escaped?
One went up and one was down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Fabulous.
I was a bit concerned that they'd just all panic and go straight over the edge, but they didn't. They were controlled and you know, just explored.
The Magnificent Seven have arrived. So, how about Colobus Island? Though these residents are here to stay, I think this will always be Nico's island.
Back now to Zena. The abandoned cheetah is about to get a cutting-edge treatment from animal osteopath Tony.
Today I want to introduce something that, as far as we know, has never been done before with cheetahs, and that is to use some laser therapy to actually stimulate the cells to respond even quicker to the process that we're trying to do.
Tony knows it's crucial Zena's legs are as strong as possible before she's mixed with her mother and siblings again.
Like all carnivores, they will look for a weakness in another one, and the stronger we can get her and the fitter we can get her, then the better her chances are of integrating.
This one-off laser treatment increases the speed of tissue recovery. Lead keeper Eloise is helping.
Now, what this does, this is a cold laser. Laser basically stimulates damaged cells to repair and healthy cells to sort of excel.
While it's cold, it does emit a powerful light. So, eye shields on.
And then if you can just encourage her not to bite the unit, that'd be great. The main problem I've got working with Zena is, although she's been hand-reared, she is still a wild cheetah. And so we have to try and make the treatments relatively non-confrontational, but at the same time be in charge.
Yeah.
No, don't bite me.
Gently, gentle, gentle, gentle.
Young Zena would rather play. But with Eloise's best distraction tactics, Tony can begin the treatment.
Ready?
Gentle, good girl. No, gentle to me as well, please, missus.
I'm not actually touching her, but of course with Zena, she thinks if you're anywhere near her, that you're fair game.
Gently.
Tony believes this could have an impact on how a reintroduction might play out.
Ideally, it's going to make her stronger and should allow her to a better chance to mix with the other cheetahs, in that she's not going to present as being weaker than them, and she's not going to sort of subconsciously be guarding herself.
Looking to alternative therapies like this, the team have done everything they can for Zena.
Then it's down to personalities whether they can actually do it. And I can't treat for that, I'm afraid.
The benefit of the laser therapy should soon kick in.
Usually within 24 hours you notice a change, so it's quite quick acting.
Stay there, good girl.
I know you want to.
No.
I think that's her saying she's had enough, so I'm happy to leave it at that for today.
Perfect.
How's that feeling, Zena?
Watch this, there you go, that's brilliant.
Woohoo! Good girl, Zena.
Cheetahs love to get up high to survey their territory, but the team have never seen Zena get this high before.
She's really extending those front legs. Absolutely brilliant.
The months of rehab have brought a spring to her step.
There is a clear difference. You can start seeing the improvements now rather than just hoping that they're there.
When I first saw her, I knew all of us had our work cut out. And that's just poetry. I'm just chuffed a bit.
Zena has one final attempt to reintegrate with her family. Will she rise to the challenge?
For 2 decades, I was privileged to call Nico the gorilla my most mischievous mate.
Don't you even think about pinching my bum.
He still has to have a cheeky go, doesn't he?
A grumpy, yet irresistibly lovable old codger.
He was a magnificent animal. Always makes me cry.
You're allowed to.
A year's gone by and I'm heading back to the island to meet its new inhabitants.
got slight mixed emotions because I've come over to what was Gorilla Island. This was where Nico lived for so many years. It's now, of course, home to the Colobus monkeys, and I'm going to be seeing them for the first time, so I'm incredibly excited about that because they are amazing animals. But there are a lot of memories here.
Keeper Matt's showing me the house that's been refitted for the new islanders.
It's a lot more energy, a lot more movement going on. We are starting to build a little bit of a bond with them now, so we are getting to know their personalities a little bit more. It has taken them quite a few months to begin to trust us.
Take me out to meet them. I am very excited to see them.
We'd never walk onto the island while Nico was outdoors, but with the Colobus, we can.
Oh, it's like an adventure playground in here now,
it's a bit
isn't it?
different out here as well. A lot more ropes and perches going on.
Yes. Much as I will always miss Nico, they are amazing looking monkeys.
Yeah,
aren't
they are incredible.
They're also very intelligent, and Matt and the team keep them mentally agile with brain-teasing puzzles like this one.
So is the plan that they'll sort of pull these out?
Yeah, hopefully they'll pull them out. Then we'll put a few little treats in there for them as well.
How's this looking?
It's looking absolutely great so far, yeah.
One more, and then you want to poke some food in as well,
We'll put a little bit of food in as well, yeah.
OK. Look at this, boys.
Hey, dude.
Ooh, hello. Oh, my goodness. They can certainly move.
That looks great. Hopefully they'll come and have an explore and see what's going on.
Oh, look, someone's going. Who's this now who's going towards it?
This looks like Dude that's heading over, who's one of the Irish ones.
There he goes. Oh, look at him. He's
having a little bit of a go.
He's having a little bit of a go.
This looks like Kitway that's coming across now.
So this is the dominant one?
This is the dominant one that's coming across.
Oh, yeah, and his whole body language when he came up onto that, he was like, what do you think you're doing, youngster?
Like gorillas, Colobus family groups are led by a dominant male, and Kitway has established himself as the new island leader.
Kitway would rather steal the food than get his own.
Go and work it out yourself. Look at him, he's a cheeky beggar. He's a little bit suspicious of it, isn't he?
He's not convinced at the minute. I think he wants someone else to have a bit of a go first again to check that it's safe.
So he's dominant, but not necessarily
not the bravest of them when it comes to new things.
There he goes. We had another job, didn't we? You've brought a strimmer over.
Yes, I've got to do a little bit of gardening.
Right. OK. How do they feel about things like strimmers? Because they're quite noisy and invasive.
Very noisy once it's going. The first few times we brought it over, they were quite hesitant and wanted to keep well out of the way.
Yeah.
Since they've realised that it isn't a threat, now they're becoming a bit braver and they want to come over to have a look more and see what it is.
Oh, really? So what would you like me to do to help?
If you can follow behind me and just keep them away if you can. Just stop them coming too close to the strimmer.
So I'm basically the monkey barrier?
Yeah, you're guarding them, yeah.
Not a Colobus to be seen. The broom's obviously working. They've run for cover.
I'll never forget my old mate, but they say time heals all wounds. And it does bring a smile to my face to see the island bounce back into life.
Is there a Prince Charming in hiding at the Butterfly House? Jean's back with Keeper James, but we're not talking about him. She's got a date with a cane toad.
This is Michael.
Hi, Michael.
Michael Caine.
Good name.
Thanks. He's over 21 years old now.
That's amazing, because they live to about 24, so you know he's getting on a bit.
Yeah, he's an old lad.
Yeah, look at those lovely big legs at the back.
They're amazing little things. They've done so well in both South America, that's where these guys are found, but they've also done very, very well in Australia.
How did they end up in Australia?
So they were actually introduced to Australia to eat sugarcane beetles. So lots and lots of plantations were set up out there. The sugarcane beetles were sadly destroying all of their crops. So what they thought they'd do is we'll release a biological control, which was the cane toad. Because it is such an opportunistic hunter, they don't just eat the beetles. They eat literally everything. So small monitor lizards, small lizards, small other frogs.
Something this size can eat a monitor lizard?
Yeah, a small monitor lizard. Yeah, a little baby. Yeah, anything that can fit inside their mouth is done for, basically.
I feel as if he's making himself bigger, almost like a balloon blowing up. It's a weird feeling.
He's puffing himself out just so.
What does that mean?
Just so we don't eat him.
Right. Okay.
So that's him showing you that he is. I'm a pretty big lad. He's pushing out these little poison glands just here. So if an animal were to bite down on them, they would secrete this bufotoxin. It's quite nasty stuff. And yeah, because there's
Back up a second, James. Right? Okay, you're talking about poison and venom while I've got him in my hand. Explain that to me.
Just poison. So as long as you're not going to put him inside your mouth, you'll be fine. So that is the difference between poison and venom.
Right.
Poison you have to ingest, venom has to be injected. So we're good. Let's just not lick him or anything like that and we'll be okay.
Well, you know, another myth is that if you kiss a frog or a toad, they turn into a prince.
With that poison, I wouldn't suggest it.
I think I'll give it a miss.
Yeah.
It's an important and nerve-wracking day up at the Cheetah House. I'm heading up there now to go and catch up with Matt. Oh, I've gone all soppy.
Last year, I met abandoned cheetah Zena when she was just a few weeks old to try and teach her some play skills that would help her reintegrate with her family later down the line.
It looks all fun and all, you know, very cutesy, but it is absolutely crucial.
Yeah.
She's watching, but...
She's watching. Yeah, not that keen. I'll leave that with you.
Well, a year later, and Zena is a cheetah teenager approaching a crossroads.
Hi, Matt. Hello, pussycat. Oh, it's so lovely to see her, Matt. You have done her proud.
Thank you.
I mean, I think back to that tiny little scrap that had so little chance of survival.
Yeah, she was in quite a bad way. She's very lucky to be here.
Today, Matt's planning one final attempt to mix Zena with her mum and siblings.
If it goes wrong again, then we kind of can draw a line underneath that.
So you can just say, we tried, we did our best, but actually this isn't the best scenario either for Zena or for Wilma and her cubs.
Yeah. Okay, Zena, come on.
Hello, girl.
Here she is.
Here she is.
Matt moves Zena into the enclosure before introducing her 3 younger siblings.
Give it a go and see what happens?
Yeah, might as well.
Okay. Oh, here they come.
Bolt, Mo and Dina.
She's... Oh, now look. Oh, they've spotted her. It is fascinating because, I mean, they've got the same parents, haven't they? And yet there wouldn't be any kind of recognition of that. They're not looking across there and going, that's a relative.
No, not at all.
You've got nerves of steel, Matt, I have to say. I'm terrified. I'll let you go ahead.
All right, guys.
So Zena, they're going straight up to her and straight for the chase.
Yeah, this is exactly what happened last time.
Gosh, it's wonderful to see her move, though, isn't it? And in she comes.
All the physio has clearly worked wonders for Zena's legs, but as the 3 cubs lay chase, Matt is worried.
This is actually playing out exactly like last time. A bit of a chase, and then Zena pins herself against the fence, and then there's a bit of a standoff, which is what's happening now. You're right, Zena. Yeah, she's trying to come back in now.
This is really hard, I think, for Matt. You know, Zena is now almost an adult female cheetah. At this point in her life, she would either be with her mother in the wild or she would be out on her own, in her own territory. It's, you know, easy for us to think, wouldn't it be lovely for her to be with her siblings and to be with other cheetahs? But actually, that's not how these cats work.
Come, Zena.
So, Matt, you've decided to bring her in.
If she's not even going to be comfortable with the cubs, she's not going to be able to live with Mum. Mum's not going to tolerate her behaving like that around her cubs.
Matt and the team must now come up with a plan B for the cheetah he's worked so tirelessly to raise and rehabilitate.
So this must be a real conundrum for you, Matt, because, you know, you do have a very, you know, involved relationship.
I do, yes.
With her.
All the team love her to bits. She's one of the favourite animals here on the section.
Yeah.
So, yeah, for Zena, you know, the future's still very good for her.
Yeah.
Just a shame they couldn't be together, but considering the circumstances, it's not surprising.
Yeah. Yeah, well, thank you for letting me be part of it. Zena, you were very brave and a very beautiful runner. And she's never going to be lonely with you around, let's face it.
Absolutely. For now, Zena will stay under Matt's care. The hope is that further down the line, she'll join the captive breeding programme herself and start a family of her own. Kate and I went to catch up with Head of Animal Operations Darren to look back on Zena's remarkable first year. Darren, it's been a year since I saw Zena, who was hand-reared by Matt over there, and the cub has become a cat.
Huge, hasn't she got big?
Oh, it's
wonderful.
amazing.
Oh,
yeah.
It's just such a privilege to be this close to such an extraordinary animal, isn't it?
She is amazing. Matt's done a fantastic job.
Yeah.
And
Look at him beaming with pride.
It's his baby.
And, you know, she's got so much stronger. Her legs are starting to straighten more. It feels like a great success story.
Well, I think it is, and health-wise, and what Matt and the team have been doing, you know, the legs are straighter, they are stronger. She's turning into a big, powerful cheetah. I'm going to talk really fast here.
And what's really interesting, it was distressing, obviously, seeing the mixing and not working, and she does feel very, you can see that she feels very intimidated by everybody else.
It's a mob rule,
God,
isn't it?
she can run.
Wow! No, you're right. And we had conversations about whether she had a future at all, because if those legs carried on bowing in and she physically couldn't get around, you know, we were talking about that early days.
She is a fantastic ambassador for her species, isn't she?
Absolutely. We want to share just how wonderful this animal is, and we've got a great chance here. Ideally, you'd want her to live in this little coalition with her siblings and her mum, and it's not through want of trying. We have to remember she's still a very valuable animal in the gene pool. Here is an animal that is critical to keep those bloodlines going.
Yeah.
She's talking about stealing the limelight. She's going to come back in now. Few stage left.
Zena, I think the goodbye belongs to you. Sadly, it is the end of the programme, but wave goodbye to Zena, and here's what's coming up on the next Animal Park.
The race is on to help a red deer in distress.
Any newborn is critical and things can change very quickly.
We witnessed the rapid reflexes of chameleon Aurora.
Whoa, that was lightning fast.
That was incredible.
And Wolfwood Cub Cam
Oh my goodness!
turns me all soppy.
Oh my goodness, that's adorable.